Hi, it's Ramonda Cutrer, Brickhouse Talk Production. It is hot in the Bay, but I have an even hotter interview for you today. All-American athlete Giles Chapman of Washington High School in Fremont, California is here with me today. So let's bring out Giles Chapman. Hey, Giles.
How you doing?
Good. How are you today?
Good. Blessed.
Blessed. Wonderful. Thank you so much for this opportunity to meet with me and give me this interview. And I want to start off by saying that I had the opportunity to view some of your video clippings and read some of your articles, and I was very impressed by your athleticism. And you've been a part of so many different camps and different programs. So I just want to give the people an opportunity to learn more about you, those that don't know anything about Giles Chapman.
Oh yeah, well I'm an athlete at heart. My parents put me in sports at an early age. My parents, along with my grandmother. So I've been raised in just an athletic family. My dad was a pro tennis player. My little brother's coming up. He's going to be a great athlete in a basketball standpoint. But man, just all around athletes in my family. I've been blessed with a good company of people around me to keep my head straight, keep my head humble. You know, that's the most important thing. So I just been blessed all around.
Giles, what All-American camps have you been a part of, and what was the experience like?
Yeah, so it started my junior year. My father took me down to Texas, San Antonio, Texas. And, you know, that's where this whole kind of journey really just flourished for me. I was down there at the U.S. Army All-American Combine. And down there, you know, I really understood, you know, the game of recruiting, the game of, you know, prospects, this school, that school, and I did really good at that camp. So from there, it took off into my senior year, and I was announced an All-American, the NUC All World Gridiron Classic All-American, and I played in the game December 31st. I played in down South Carolina. It was just a wonderful experience. I learned a lot. It was fun. It was fun camaraderie with the guys, but it was just all-out great experience. I'm very thankful that I got the opportunity and all that exposure down there.
So how did that better you as a player, you know, having that experience?
Oh man, it bettered me as a player tremendously. You know, it first started with the U.S. Army, the U.S. Army Combine, great coaches, great facility, great everything down there, and it's the atmosphere. It just prepared me mentally more than anything. Prepared me mentally for the game of college football, the next step, and you know, it really taught me a lot of what I had to work on as a player, and just, you know, the game, the whole experience down there. The coaching staff was great. You know, a lot of things I didn't know was what I need to know in college. You know, I got down there at the All-American game, so it was just a great experience for me.
Wonderful. Now, I seen a video of you and a few other athletes that were being interviewed, and they were saying that when you came into the camp, no one knew about you, you know, and then all of a sudden, who is this guy? Who is this Giles Chapman and everything? So you quickly made a name for yourself. So how was that? Tell me about that experience as well.
Yeah, that was down there at the All-American game, and I went down there down South Carolina. Coach David Shuman, he's a great guy, CEO of the NUC organization, and I went down there the first 2 days, and I just balled out. I did what I was supposed to do. I did what exactly I was supposed to do. You know, I just used my God-given talents. And, you know, the coaches recognized me as one of the top corners at the All-American game. You know, and these kids is from all across the country, got scholarships from everywhere. And I was named one of the top corners there, along with my two safeties that was on my team. So, I mean, it was just a great experience, and I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, he actually went on to say that you were, like, good on both sides of the ball, you know. So that was a great accolade to receive from him. Okay, so as a young athlete, you know, and peer pressure and everything that goes on in the world, how do you maintain, you know, socially and academically wise?
Yeah, well, academically wise, you know, that always comes first for me. My family, you know, my grandmother always pressured me at a young age, you know, stick to my education first. You know, first and foremost, when you got that down, everything else will follow. But, you know, in terms of social wise, I have a lot of, you know, enemies, and I have a lot of, you know, friends, you know, and that comes with just being a great athlete. Coming out the Bay Area, there's a lot of kids that are great, but, you know, some get you know, off track, some get, you know, swayed this way, swayed that way. I just want to keep myself around good people. You know, and I think my father prepared me for that. As a young man growing up in society, it's hard being an athlete. You know, especially being an African American male. So I'm just really focused right now, and I applaud my parents for making me the man that I am today.
How did your faith in God and your family help you stay strong during this, you know, recruitment time and everything ever since your sophomore year? Because I think that's when it began for you.
Yeah, well, it all started my sophomore year, but I've been through a lot. You can say I've been through a lot. My parents, my little brother have invited me, you know, all by my side. But you know, my faith in God is really important to me, and you know, if I didn't have him and if I didn't have my parents throughout this recruitment process, I don't know where I would be. You know, honestly, coaches have, you know, said certain stuff to me and my family. You know, schools have, you know, said certain things, you know, which led us to think one thing, but then when you get there, it's a whole different situation. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I understand this recruitment game. I understand, you know, the ins and outs of everything, and I'm glad that I understood that. So now my brother coming up, you know, he can understand that, and he sees it firsthand, so he gonna make those mistakes.
Who is your biggest influence on and off the field?
My biggest influence, that's a good question. My biggest influence would have to be my dad. You know, He's been there with me through the thick and thin. You know, we've been through the fire with each other. You know, dealing with this recruitment process. We've been through, as I can say, you know, it's a cliche. We've been through hell and back. You know, and I truly believe that. And now we back from that darkness and we ready to go out. And I say we because it's me and him. It's not just me. You know, because without him, there wouldn't be me. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to say my biggest influence would have to be my father. You know, and I really thank him for everything that he has done and that he's going to do. So
he's a very proud father, because when I met you at the basketball tournament, he said, "You don't know my son? Yeah. You just don't know about my son. You got to interview my son." So I appreciate that as well. Okay. Next question. What motivates you as an athlete?
Oh man, what motivates me as an athlete is just to make myself better. But in the same token, I want to, you know, my talents or what God gave me, I want other people to see that, to lift them up in their life. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I want all the fame and the glory, but I want that in a different way. I want everybody to see, okay, you know, Giles Chapman, he's about his business. You know, he's a faithful man coming up in society. He does the right thing. You know, he's a good role model to where he comes from. He's a good role model to the little kids growing up. So you know, I want to be remembered for that. And so yeah, so that's what I believe. Do that.
Who's your favorite all-time player?
My favorite all-time player? Well, I can't really say that because my all-time player hasn't reached the NFL yet, and his name is Giles Chapman. Yes, ma'am.
I like that answer, Giles. I do, but I'm saying, I know there has to be some football NFL player that you do admire.
You know, I like. There's a couple players. You know, a lot of people bash this player in terms of personality, but you know, I kind of like his charisma and things, and that's Chad Johnson, aka Chad Ochocinco. You know, I just like his swag, his whole little persona. You know, that's just, you know, I don't say I copy that by any means necessary, but I just like the way he gets down. You know, sometimes he might handle the media in a certain way where it's just so clever. It's like, well, the media is taken back by it. You know, and also I like Steve Smith from the Carolina Panthers. He's a shorter cat in the game, but he has the mentality of assassin. You know, he don't let nobody, you know, disrespect him in any kind of way. That's off the field and on the field. Right. You know, and I feel the same way. You know, so I kind of you know, feed off those two characters.
Yeah, Steve Smith really sounds a lot like you, so I can see why you like him as well. Okay, your most memorable game.
Would have to be my All-American game. Would have to be my All-American game down in South Carolina. You know, the game, the whole atmosphere, the playing on national television, and getting interviewed. Getting interviewed at one of the breaks. You know, on live TV, and just the feeling that I got. You know, when I stepped onto that field, and I knew I was playing in front of millions of people, and my mother and father was in the stands, and then my dad was back home watching it through the TV. And you know, I just felt good that my dad can see his son, you know, on TV, everything that he's gone through with me. He can see my son, he can see his son on TV, like, okay, this is the right step. Now let's take it further. You know, so that has to be the most memorable game. And you know, I have to thank all my success to my parents for really putting me in that opportunity to play in that game and getting selected. So
wonderful. How do you prepare for a big game? What do you do? What type of music does Giles listen to? What kind of food does he eat? What is it?
Well, before big games, you know, it starts in the morning. Me and my little brother, we bobbing our heads. We bobbing our heads in our rooms, blasting the radio. My mom's in the room. She up here bobbing her head. You know, the whole family's just rocking. The whole family's just rocking. And then, you know, I go off to school. I gotta have my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You know, that started as a freshman. My dad got me to the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I had that. Then I had my Subway going on to the bus. My little brother's right there with me on the bus. Every single game, he's right there with me on the bus. And I'm listening. My favorite artist is Lil Wayne. You know, of course. Favorite artist is Lil Wayne. You know, I like those party songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The kind that you want to dance to.
Yeah.
But you know, I listen to that, and then I get on the field. I prepare myself, and right before I lace up my sneakers, I always pray. You know, and it's a different prayer every game. You know, no matter what the circumstances are, it might be different for, you know, different games. So I'll always pray, and then I lace my sneakers up, and right before I step onto the field, I listen to one more song. You know, even if I'm kind of late out the locker room, Coach knows let Giles listen to that one song, and he'll be good, So I step onto that field, and then I say one more prayer and give 3 chest bumps to my chest, and then point to the sky, and then from there I'm ready to go. It's takeoff.
And that has worked for you too, it seems like. Not only is he a football player, I don't know if you guys know, but he plays basketball as well. And pretty savvy too. You know, I got a chance to look at him and check him out on the court during an AAU tournament. So no aspirations to play basketball, you know, football, you just master that more so than basketball, but I heard you was great, you know. But also I wanted to mention that you kind of bring your basketball skills into the football game as well, so speak on that.
Right. Well, you know, I was getting heavily recruited as a sophomore by University of Alabama and Virginia Tech, and I was getting heavily recruited. Coach Grant up there at Alabama, University of Alabama, I have a good relationship with their coaching staff, and Coach Seth Greenberg. I have a good relationship with their coaching staff down there. And you know, I decided to make my decision at the end of my sophomore year to go with football. You know, I really feel like I have a better future, you know, at that. However, I will say my first love is basketball. You know, I enjoy the basketball court, but at the end of the day, my mother always said, go to where your money's at. And my money is at football, you know, and I just can't, you know what I'm saying? It comes natural to me, you know, football. Basketball comes natural, but it's a lot more practice into it on my standpoint. So football just comes more natural, and I just feel like I have a better future in that. So that's what made my decision.
Okay, basketball, how about those Mavericks?
No comment. I don't. You know.
Wait a minute. Wait. Do not tell me you were rooting for the Heat.
Personally, I wasn't rooting for nobody.
Nobody. Your team was out of it. Who's your basketball team?
Team was out of it. I would have to say the Boston Celtics because
that's my team too. Look, he made me draw my face.
Yeah, because Kevin Garnett, his mentality, his mentality is like I like that gutter mentality. Right. You know, he's from the hood, but he doesn't have a hood, you know, mentality. Right. He has that, you know, that grimy, you know, get it done mentality. Right. And at the end of the day, he's gonna fight for his and his teammates, and I like that.
We agree. We so agree. Kevin Garnett. Well, Giles, I really, again, want to thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. And Brickhouse Talk will definitely be following your career. Keep in contact with me because I want to know how things are going. And for those of you that don't know much about Giles Chapman, you have YouTube clips?
Yes.
So they can find you on YouTube?
Yeah, they can find me on YouTube. I will have a Twitter coming up. That's Giles Chapman. You know, I haven't thought of the name yet, the Twitter name, but you can find me on Twitter. And, you know, YouTube, Google as well. And
Brickhouse Talk, because I'll be posting, you know, updates on him and what he's doing.
There you go. Yeah, but also, you know, follow me in college. You know, I expect to do big things in college. I'm real excited for this thing. I'm just ready to get this ball rolling. I've been training. I'm about to go train right now, but I just real been focused. You know, I turned my life around. Like I said, I got baptized. Yes, I baptized on Sunday. So you know, that was just the final process in my cleansement of just, you know, giving myself to the Lord. So you know, I really feel blessed for that, and I'm just ready to go ahead in college, just do what I got to do.
Well, I'm really proud of you, Giles, and I know that you're going to be successful, and I know that you're going to go to school and do great things, and I look forward to, you know, following you and everything. So thank you again for this opportunity. All right. This is Ramonda Cutrer, Brickhouse Talk production with Giles Chapman.